All right, and welcome back to another Falcons Fanatic podcast. I am your host, as always, Lucky Roberts, as we watch the Falcons beat the Bucs for the second time this season. This time, I'd say a little less stressful, although it was still very much down to the wire with the Falcons just winning by 5 points over the Buccaneers, 31-26. It was a great game for the Falcons. Offense, I will say, the last couple of weeks have shown, the offense has no issues. I'm not worried about the offense. The Bucs secondary is struggling. We were basically able to do everything offensively that we wanted to do, and our defense did just enough, got enough turnovers. Thank you, Jesse Bates. Enough turnovers to get the Falcons through this week and into the driver's seat in the NFC South, as the Falcons are now 5-3 on the season, 3-0 away, by the way, and also, crucially, 4-0 in our division in the NFC South, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now are basically 2 games ahead of them because we have that tiebreaker beating them twice this year, and, 4-0 in the division. We are now basically 2 games ahead, even though we are only 1 game ahead in the standings. And if you look at the rest of the NFC South, they've been faltering lately. So the Falcons really looking to clean up that spot, especially with the Tampa Bay Bucs schedule upcoming. The Falcons can really, really solidify their playoff spot here in the NFC South. And Kirk Cousins was just unfazed today. I think some of the best passes I've seen him make, throughout his Falcons tenure, which I granted isn't too long. Kirk Cousins was untouchable. Their pass rush didn't get to him a lot. A rating of 145, 4 touchdowns, 276 yards. Of course, both games he plays the Bucs and goes off. I don't play him in fantasy. I play Sam Darnold instead, who had a decent game, but even still, got sacked twice. Kirk Cousins made some amazing throws. The 4 touchdowns, the first 2 to Kyle Pitts, who, had a great game on National Tight End Day and has had secretly a very good rebound to his weak start to the season. He now has 4 straight weeks with, I think, 60-plus yards. Kyle Pitts with 90 yards in this one, 2 touchdowns, and one of them was very, very, would have changed the course of this game if they had a different angle on it in the command center there in the NFL, but they didn't. Kyle Pitts scores his first one, which is just basically a blown coverage by somebody who blew a lot of coverage for the Buccaneers, number 24, Tyreek Funderburk, if I'm saying that right. My buddy Austin, who has been on this podcast before, was telling me just how he has no idea who's on the Bucs defense right now, just because of how many injuries they have. And he got cooked all game. First here by Kyle Pitts on that touchdown throw. He also got burnt by Mooney a couple of times, and on the 3rd touchdown pass, he got burnt by Mooney as well. And if you're looking at Tyreek Funderburk, I think you're looking in the wrong spot, especially if you're bringing 2 high flyers like Kyle Pitts and Darnell Mooney. The second, though, is the second touchdown by Kyle Pitts, a slant. Kyle just sort of uses his surprising speed that people don't remember he has, a 4.4 speed, breaks through finally on one of these plays, and waltzes into the end zone, except one Bucs player, Antoine Winfield Jr., who is just coming back this week, or maybe last week he came back, but is fresh off the IR, hustles back, hits Kyle as he's on the 1-yard line. Kyle could have just stretched that ball across. He could have, held on to as long as he just puts 2 hands on that ball, he's fine. Instead gets hit in the back with the ball behind his body, swinging forward about to score. And Winfield hits his body first. His arm collides as Kyle swings towards his body. It's really hard to tell which crosses the line first, but crucially, the refs rule on the field that it's a touchdown, which means that there has to be conclusive evidence on the replay for them to overturn it, and there was no conclusive evidence, so it remained a touchdown. Kyle Pitts got his second of the game, and hopefully that's an issue I've had with Kyle Pitts. I'm going to get negative a bit here, even though it's a huge win for the Falcons. An issue I've had with Kyle Pitts for quite a while is he gives up on plays, man, and it's something you see happen a lot with some other Falcons. Matthew Judon, sorry, that just snuck out there, but you see it happen with other Falcons, and Kyle Pitts so often will just quit on a play. You've seen many times Kyle Pitts not run to his fullest ability, and because he doesn't think the ball's going to be thrown to him, and then it is, and he's not able to get under it. Or Kyle Pitts not really seal a block. You saw that happen there, and I was saying, to my buddy, how come the Falcons screens don't work as well as the Bucs? I mean, Falcons must be practicing against it because it's every fucking run, every single play we run. And my buddy says, yeah, but it's Cade Otton versus Kyle Pitts blocking. And lo and behold, the next screenplay, Kyle Pitts just completely lets Winfield right through, doesn't even give him a arm, a hand of pressure, and gets a tackle on Ray McLeod looking to make something happen in the screen game. And so he really is a low-effort player, and I don't blame him. He played for some pretty bad teams. He didn't get the ball thrown his way at all, and now that he is getting the ball thrown his way, I'd like to see him put his effort up, finish some plays blocking. We can't have these boneheaded mistakes because they will kill us, and they did kill us in the past. Just remember last year's game against the Bucs with the fumbles from Ritter twice on the 1-yard line. Almost happens again with Pitts, but doesn't, and the Falcons hold on to win. And that's the difference between this year's team and last year's team, is the fact that the Atlanta Falcons go unpunished once again. We get the wins we need to get, and we got it this week. And last year, we just wouldn't. We would have found a way to lose. This year, we find a way to win, and that is Kirk Cousins is the only difference in that. The defense is still shot. We still had playmakers last year. We just didn't utilize them. We have playmakers this year. We do utilize them. As you see, Mooney with 92 yards, 5 catches. Bijan and Drake also with 5 catches each. A little bit of a slower game for Drake, but he's had some quicker games, so we'll give him the week off. The Falcons find a way to win games, and Kirk Cousins showed the exact amount of poise. He never rushed anything. I feel like he was rushing stuff last week, got back within himself, never rushed anything, made dimes when he needed to, but didn't force a dime. He took sacks when he had to, when there was nothing available. He didn't force plays. He made the right plays. He was 23 for 29, 300 yards through the air, and we let the run game slowly chug him down. It was the turnovers were the difference, and Kyle Pitts scoring that touchdown were the difference in this game, getting the Falcons the win. And talking about the running game, Algier had nowhere to go against Vita Vea. Usually Algier's able to trump any defender. He couldn't this game because Vita Vea trumps Algier because, man, is that boy hard to move. I'll say that. He just absolutely stuffed every single run we tried to get up the middle with Algier. And there was a couple of times where, especially in a big play, where we wanted to get some push up front and we just couldn't, especially when you're missing Lindstrom, especially when you're missing, I don't know, I think Bergeron may have been in this, but he's been injured, right? And so you're on your third string center, your third string left guard, and you're out your right guard too. It's going to be a little bit tough getting a push from your inside of your offensive line, and that's where Algier likes to run off of. So it was a rough game. Bijan always can make magic. He never has negative plays. He always has something positive to do with the football, and he was juking people once again. Not as good as last game, but who can blame him? It was tough with Vita Vea there. He did what he needed to do, got us 5 yards of carry, and that's what we needed from him. 63 yards through the ground, 30 through the air. And yeah, it was exactly the type of offensive approach you would have expected from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield with 3 touchdowns, 330, 50 attempts because the Falcons were up so quickly. But early on in the game, they established the rushing game with Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. 5 a carry for both of those guys. McMillan even getting a tote with 17. And it's something you have to worry about with this Falcons defense is our ability to stop the run. And a person who was supposed to help with that was Ruka Rororo, but he goes down later in this game. They were running all over us either way. But because we were able to get up, because of a turnover and a couple of stops and the Falcons offense just being lights out, we didn't really have to worry about the run game. But that is something I'm going to have to worry about in the future with the Falcons because we couldn't stop, Swiss cheese. We couldn't block a ham, some bacon. We couldn't block anything. You could put anybody in the backfield. You could put Avery Williams in the backfield for them, and he would go off. The Falcons are really, really struggling to stop the run. And even just against a subpar rushing attack, honestly, from Tampa Bay with Bucky Irving, Rachaad White, and McMillan there, and they still got 5 a pop or more from us. And still Baker Mayfield without his top two receivers maybe didn't have the explosiveness that he usually does, but was able to find his guys in important spots, like Cade Otton with 2 touchdowns on tight end day, 9 receptions. He was their main driver of offense without, obviously, their 2 main receivers. Raheem Jarrett also with a couple, but everybody else, Jalen McMillan 4 catches, Rachaad White 5 catches, Bucky Irving 7 catches. That's about as much rushes as they had as well. So they were used through the air a lot, and you had Ryan Miller, Trey Palmer, Sterling Shepard also getting some catches, but just sprinkled around. They didn't have the explosiveness as they used to, and whenever he did try to make an explosive play, it happened just about as you would have expected, with 2 interceptions, one by A.J. Terrell and one by Jesse Bates. Oh yeah, Jesse Bates. Yeah, Jesse Bates is that guy once again. First play of the game, punches it out against, it was Rachaad White. He got Bucky Irving last game. He gets Rachaad White this time, punches it out, jumps on the ball himself, doing it all himself, and gets the Falcons an easy touchdown, the first one to Kyle Pitts on 4th and 3. Huge play. Now Falcons are up early. They have to throw the ball a little bit. They do rush still and rush all over us. They score a touchdown. Tampa Bay gets the lead. Now it's 14-14, I think. We tie it back up, and they're moving. They're moving into our zone. And he tries to force a play. Baker Mayfield does. He throws it. But honestly, it was open. I think if they had a different guy, I don't even know who they were throwing it to this time. I think Raheem Jarrett? Not really sure. But he just gets out-jumped by Jesse Bates, as you can see on the cover of this video, for the pick in a huge spot as well. And that got the Falcons the ball, got the Falcons in the lead ahead where they can start forcing Buccaneers to pass where they don't want to. And it was a huge play in this game for the Falcons. And he stole it out, jumped him, and just wanted it more. And he had 2 turnovers. It was very reminiscent. 2 turnovers forced in this game. Very reminiscent of his first game in a Falcons uniform against the Panthers, with 2 picks and a forced fumble. Although this time the other pick goes to A.J. Terrell, where it was a similar situation. They're driving, and you see Baker Mayfield just force it just a little bit. He wants to get a touchdown here quick. They have just this little, he goes to the flat, fakes the flat, and then just runs straight up. And I don't even know, I think it was Mike Hughes on the outside. He gets burnt a little bit. He and A.J. Terrell looking to cover on the inside, the in-crosser. Baker Mayfield's like, I'm just going to throw this. In fact, Terrell wasn't going on the crosser. He was faking the crosser, reading the eyes of the QB, and bolts straight for the ball, picks it in a huge spot once again, which really, really put the Falcons in the driver's seat, and they didn't have to score the rest of the game, even though I would have liked to. I'm looking at you, Youngway. I'm looking at you, Youngway. It's been, I don't even know how long Youngway's been with the team. I think 5 years now, and I've been pretty happy with my performances from Youngway. He's always a clutch kicker, but for some reason, he missed a clutch kick today, and that was really frustrating. I was telling all my friends, I was like, guys, I've never seen him miss a clutch kick. This is to go up to 8 points leading the Buccaneers, where they only can dream of tying us. But in fact, the Falcons miss it. Youngway Koo misses the clutch kick, and all of a sudden there's a minute left with up 5, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can come back and steal this one from the Falcons, as we stole one from them in our house. Well, we stole this one anyway as well, except we deserved it. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did go home after a quick stand, although Baker Mayfield threw up a lot, and one of the security guys got lit up after the throw. But the Falcons hold on, and it would have been a lot easier of a win, less stress, if Tyler Algier and Kirk Cousins didn't fumble it after the A.J. Terrell pick. And I maybe should have followed it, the narrative that I'm talking about here with that, but I forgot to. So we get the ball back off the A.J. Terrell pick. We're literally inside around 5, so we're handing off to Tyler Algier because he's our strong boy. Obviously, Vita Vea is there, but it isn't even Vita Vea who causes the problem. It's just straight through our third-string left guard. I think Ryan Nuzzel, actually. It was straight through Ryan Nuzzel, our third-string left guard. And in the backfield, Algier he catches it, jumps over the arms, but squeezes it a little too much because he's worried about fumbling. Squeezes the ball, out it goes. It's right in front of him, though. He just jumps on it. Somehow, it squirts out back again. Not really sure how it happened. And all of a sudden, it's all madness. It's chaos in our own 10-yard line, in our own 5-yard line. Goes into our own end zone after a kick. And Mooney, thankfully, pushes it out. It's at least a safety. We can stop him on offense, but we don't. And so all of a sudden, it's a 9-point turnaround for the Buccaneers. And that really breathed life into the Buccaneers and almost had them steal it from us. That one fumble from Tyler Algier. Just got to squeeze it. You can't let that ball go, Tyler. He'll learn from it. He'll get back. He'll have a better game, I'm sure, against, if Vita Vea isn't there in the middle. But, like I said, it was the interceptions, it was this cool play from Kirk Cousins, and it was a little bit of luck with Kyle Pitts there that won us the football game. And that's all that mattered, and that's all that matters, and that's all that matters. We have a game next week against the Cowboys, which is, thankfully, they don't really have much of a rushing attack, so we should be able to breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief there and able to stop their rushing attack. But the Cowboys are still the Cowboys. They still have some ballers. They still have some players. I know they haven't played as well as they have in the past. They still have Dak Prescott. They still have CeeDee Lamb. I mean, they still have Zeke Elliott, but I don't think that's really something I'm going to worry about, especially when he's on my fantasy team. I didn't start him this week, thank God. Although I started Roschon Johnson, and he's given me a whole fat goose egg. I'm going to check that literally right now. But so far, he's given me a goose egg in that department. Doesn't matter. Still going to win my week because I had Kyle Pitts in my squad. That's why you start Kyle Pitts, baby. Yeah. Roschon Johnson actually got 6 yards and a touchdown. That's all I needed from him. Got 1 carry, 6 yards, a touchdown, 6 points, and that's going to win me the week. So glad I started him. But I am in the shop for a running back. But not worried about Zeke Elliott. Not worried about their other running back. Not sure his name. Don't really care. Am a little bit worried about our defense. Just in general, I think our pass defense is good if we can get a pass rush and some. I think that's the real worry because not being running over us for 5 yards a carry, that's fine. We're gonna accept that as a possibility against us, but right now our pass rush is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. We didn't get any pressure this game against Baker Mayfield, and luckily they didn't get any pressure on us, but it's unacceptable the level of pressure we're putting on the quarterback right now. And I'm looking at you, Terry. We need to make a deal. I don't know what we're going to give away, as my roommate talk, but I don't know what we're going to give away, but we need to give away something to get a pass rush here because we have an opportunity that we haven't had in 7 years. And it's an opportunity I prayed for and I dreamed for to make the playoffs, just to be a competent team. And I thank you, Kirk Cousins, for bringing that to me. I thank you, Terry, for bringing that to me. But I'm going to need you to bring me a pass rusher. I'm going to need you to bring somebody who can give some power off the edge. And it's not Rook, right? It's not any of the guys you drafted. So you're going to have to get me somebody other than Rook, somebody other than Matt Judon, who is an absolute zero right now for the Falcons. I'd rather have Arnold Ebiketie out there. I really would. I've gotten nothing from Matthew Judon this year. Give me Ebiketie out there. At least he's young. And, Judon, not happy with what we've had from him so far. And luckily, we didn't pay him when we got him. We did not pay him. We do not need to pay him in the future. So at least there's that to be happy about. Tyler Algier made some good plays on special teams. Just want to say that. That's just a stream of conscious thing. But we need to get some pass rush, or else we're going to get dimed by CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. All right? And we can tank a loss. We can tank 2 losses at this point with New Orleans now 2-6, Carolina 1-6. We can tank 2 losses here, and we'll still be in the race with Tampa Bay. But, I'd like to get some wins, especially on a weak team that the Cowboys have been so far this year. And I think we can do that. We shall see. I think Richie Grant was good coming back. He didn't have any big lapses in coverage, although we did play some nobodies as the wide receivers of the Buccaneers this week. D. Alford, once again, insane. Had a couple of shoestring tackles, some big tackles as well. Love what I see from D. Alford every single week. We cannot go back to playing Hamilton in that position. It is rough. Clark Phillips, you're fine. Linebackers, we're fine. Nothing super impressive. AJ Terrell, once again, you bring a couple of big hits. You got the pick this week, so I'm going to give you the pass. That's basically all he's going to give you. It's a couple of big hits and occasionally an interception. In coverage, he's still overrated as a number one guy, as a number one corner. But I'll take it. Mike Hughes is actually underrated as a number two guy. He's good. I'm happy to have him there. He's honestly equal in coverage to AJ Terrell, in my opinion. So I'm happy with that. Happy with our safeties as long as we can get Simmons back. Richie Grant, jury's still out on him. Happy with the defense. Need to stop the run. Need to get a pass rush. Defensive line need to work on, basically. And offensively, I'm very impressed with what I've seen. Our running game will be better next week. Our passing game should continue to be at this same level, right? We have three great playmakers. We have Kyle Pitts, Mooney, and obviously Drake London, who didn't get as well going this weekend. We have a couple of gadget guys, too. We have, in the passing game, I would consider Bijan to be a gadget guy. We have him. And we have Ray McLeod as well, who can be very, very explosive when we actually get him involved. He only got 3 catches this week. And so, all in all, happy with the win. Happy with that. A couple of worrying signs from Koo. A couple of worrying signs from our defensive line. Worrying signs from our offensive line when we're rushing, when we're rushing the football. But other than that, in pass protection, we've been good. Passing, we've been good. Rushing, we've been pretty good. And in pass coverage, we've been great. And we did just enough with turnover battle, we did just enough to win this football game. And we got a little bit lucky to win this football game. But I'm happy now with the Falcons 5-3. This is what I've been asking for a couple of years now. Just a good team. Just give me one good team in 7 years. We finally have it. We beat the Buccaneers. That's a huge win for the standings. The Falcons are back in business, baby. We see you next week against the Cowboys. First in the NFC South by a margin now, and we can continue to build that margin next week. And I'll see you then with after the Falcons and Cowboys game. I appreciate you guys for listening, and I'll be back next week. So have a great week. Enjoy this one. Enjoy this win, and we'll be right back at it. And hopefully we'll have figured some things out, maybe made some moves. Terry, I'm looking at you. And we've answered some questions. But once again, thank you for listening to the Falcons Fanatic Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter if you want. You don't have to do anything. Do whatever you want. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys next week.